I'm Oprah as a dude, and I love you all. Great, here we go. Hello, beautiful people. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Reyes Reflection podcast, where we reflect. And it's hosted by Nathanael Reyes, but Reyes Reflection. Don't forget to follow me at I'm Nathanael Reyes, and if you found your way to the show, follow the show and tell someone you know about the show. We are brought to you by ARAVE Cards, Jocko Fuel, SMACKIN Sunflower Seeds, and Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, get ready for this episode because we've got someone whose voice has been capturing you, but his eyes have been capturing your heart. And I can't wait to talk about that. You may recognize him from the voice, but he's not just a reality TV singing contender. He's an accomplished artist who's been grinding way before that. His moniker was carefully constructed where he combined the first letter of his name with his last name and then threw an O for some extra flair. It's kind of like the Reyes Reflection, right? We reflect and my last name. We can construct our names the way we want to. So if you haven't already grabbed your favorite snack to enjoy this episode, let's dive into the journey of the man behind the mic while we tantalize your ears. His singing voice is a little bit better than mine, and his speaking voice is better than mine. He's already wooed me over with his speaking voice. So without further ado, the artist, RLETTO, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining me after the new year, after the holiday season.
Yeah,
I know it's crazy.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, my friend. RLETTO, first of all, I want to get this out of the way, okay? I want to bring this up. Social media can lie and trick people, right?
Yeah.
You can go ahead and use filters and go ahead and portray an image that isn't true. So your eyes, are they real?
They're me, man.
They're you.
It's on me. It's me.
You know, that's the first thing I think I gravitated towards you when I watch you on the show. Do you get that a lot? Do a lot of people ask you if they're real or not?
I probably get that maybe like 5 times a day.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of insane. Yeah, I'm just gonna start wearing sunglasses so like no one can see anything, bro.
It's you, man, but they're so nice. I mean,
Thank you.
I got to admit, they're great eyes. I thought I had nice eyes, but your eyes, they take it.
Thank my mom, man. It's all my mom's genetics,
Yeah. You got to thank Mama for those genes. Yeah. Mama, I wish I had better eye genes. No, I'm kidding, Mom. I love the genes you gave me. I appreciate it.
This dude.
You have such a fascinating music journey, which we'll definitely dive into. But before we get into all your time on television, both on stage, behind the scenes, all that stuff, let's talk about your childhood.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Okay, I was literally just thinking about this the other day, and is it crazy to say that I don't really remember it?
No, I'm with you.
It's crazy. I was thinking about just birthday parties and friends that I used to talk to when I was a kid, and I'm just I don't remember any of it. But what I do remember is being in church a lot with grandma a lot. And just watching her kind of just sing and, perform and things like that. But when it comes to just oh yeah, what did you do when you were 8? I'm I have no idea. I think I was outside playing in the mud or something. I'm from Florida, so this is what we do. We just go outside and just play. But when I was little, all I did was kind of just watch my grandmother sing in church. I was yo, she's cool. I'm trying to be her. I went to a mega church. A mega church in Tampa, and she would just sing every single Sunday, and I'm just bro, is my grandmother a superstar in the church? This is cool, so that's all I remember doing is just watching her sing.
Yeah, it's interesting how we see our parents at a young age or significant role models, and we think that they're this outer being superhero experience. For example, my dad was a UPS driver.
Really?
And during Christmas, he always would deliver
Busy.
all the... Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. He's Santa, right? And I remember him just being this amazing person.
Yeah.
And he's still my dad, and I still revere him, and I still have a lot of respect for him. But when you look at it from a baseline point as an adult, you're like, wait a minute, he was just delivering packages. But like at the time, I thought he was this superhero. I thought he was this amazing person that was carrying these massive boxes and going and doing his little thing on the little thing, saying that it's delivered, you know, all that stuff. So it is interesting how, as a kid, our minds have so much imagination that we see that. But it is also interesting because I'm with you. There are some moments in my life
you just don't know
in my that are just voids.
Yeah.
But there are others that I can tell you with clear precision of just every single detail, what shirt I was wearing, the weather conditions. Yeah, but then there's other ones where I'm just like, man, I don't know. I've had stories where I've had friends that are like, hey, bro, you remember this in high school, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
no.
Was I even there?
No, for real. You know, it's also crazy. Like, I was also thinking about this, like, you know, like, we're, like, born and stuff, you know, obviously, like, we're born, and then, like, we're just, like, put with these two people, like mom and dad. And it's like, we don't really know who they are until, like, way later in life. Like, we're just, like, living with these two people. Like, I know, it sounds crazy, but, like, realistically, like, we're just, like, living with these two people that we just don't really know who they are or who they were, you know, until we're later in life. We're just like, bro, like, I was just living with y'all, like, y'all just, like, took care of me. Like, I don't know, it's just things like that cross my mind.
It's totally true. It can blow your mind if you go down this rabbit hole, because as you just said that, I was thinking in my head, and I go, wait a minute. So they've known me my whole life, but I don't really know them. I don't know all the intricacies of what they believe, what they did, their journey, what they went through. It is kind of crazy.
Scary.
Yeah. I'm perplexed right now. I really am. I thought I was delivered from a stork, and I thought I was just dropped off, and then these two people, but
oh god.
And then when you get to, you know, freshman year and you do health class and you learn that that's not what happened, you're like, oh man. Okay.
Then you want to know what were they like in like high school, or like, you know, just growing up, like what did my parents do, like, you know what I mean, like,
yes,
like how do we get to this point of y'all?
Yes.
I don't know.
Right. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How am I here? Not physically, but how am I here from you? And how did we get to that point? If you go down that rabbit hole, and it's also interesting because parents will never tell you the whole truth.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, they will never.
You just don't know.
Tell you. Yeah, they're not going to tell you all the bad things they did when they were 17, 18. But they know all the bad things you did at 17.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, do we actually know our parents? Like, that's like, you know, like that's some real stuff, man.
It is some real. It is some real stuff. I love that you just brought that up.
Yeah.
So let's transition into this then. You auditioned for Berklee College of Music. That's my backyard. I'm from Massachusetts. That's in Boston.
Nice.
I lived in Boston. Yes.
Oh yeah.
What was that transition like, moving to Boston from your hometown?
Yeah. Well, I think I was 17 at the time. You know, flew out to Boston to go audition, and I had never lived on my own, like never. So like, I mean, like what 17-year-old does, you know, like it's like I'm moving from Florida to Boston. I'm just gonna I have no family in Boston, like no nothing. I was just moving there, and I remember my mom helped me move into my dorm, and she was like, "All right, this is it." And I was like, "Yeah, this is it." And gave me a hug, and she flew back to Florida, and I was like, "Shit." I'm in a whole different state now at 17 with, I mean, I never had like that, like, like I'm struggling, like I'm grateful for that moment. I never had that, like, I need. But, you know, I had everything. Like I had like this crazy meal plan set up at Berklee, so I didn't have to really struggle for like food or anything. I was in a really good Not the best storm, but like it was nice. It was okay. You know how Massachusetts buildings are. They're kind of old, but it was nice. But I had everything. The only thing I was missing was just my friends from back in Florida, but um, it was amazing. I can't lie. I mean, like I was on my own. Obviously made new friends, and like life was good until I got homesick, and I was like, bro, like did I make the right choice? Leaving my mom. Like she's a single mom, so I was like, did I make the right choice leaving her? With my little brother, like does she need help? Like should I go back? And I was, going back and forth. And, I called her and I asked her, I was like, are you good? And she's like, you know what? Like, I'm good as long as you don't turn back. Like, you just need to keep going. Cause by me continuing like going, like that's going to help her out in the end. So I'm just like, all right, I got it. I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna keep going. And shit was fire. Shit was great. Like, small things turn into big things, and I was like, you know what, I made the right choice. So
That's awesome because I'm sure she missed you,
yeah,
and she definitely could have said, "Yes, please come back home." And it just goes to show you the sacrifices
yeah,
that she made just so that way you could
yeah,
achieve your version of success.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's beautiful. And I'm with you, man. Our Massachusetts buildings, they're terrible. They're awful. Our city halls are all
They're kind of
old
scary, man.
buildings.
I'm not.
Yes. No, they are. I'm not a big Massachusetts fan, even though I lived here for most of my life. I'm
Yeah,
not a huge Massachusetts fan. I
yeah,
I only live here just because family, friends, like I've already established enough of my life to the point where if I did, I would literally be leaving my best friends,
yeah.
all my loved ones, and
Yeah.
that
It
would
would
be
make
the
sense.
biggest
Yeah,
hard. Yeah. If I was I'm
yeah.
31 now. If I was 10 years younger,
Mm,
I probably would consider that.
mm,
But at this point in time, it's almost like I have to, you know what I mean? I want to circle back to your mom.
mm,
Super amazing that she was able to do that for you. And I
mm.
know that you were able to get like 75% off
Yeah, yeah,
of your tuition, which
yeah.
was probably a huge help to be able to make that happen. And I'm glad that you were able to
He
have
did his
that
homework.
experience.
Did some
Yeah,
homework. Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Nathanael does his research. I have to do my research. You know what I mean? I try to do my research. I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
I didn't do it when I was in high school and college, but I do it for this. You know.
We like that. We like that.
Yeah.
We like that.
I do. I do it for things that are important. You know. You
Okay,
know.
okay, okay. But yeah, nah, yeah, that was it. Was actually I was in the shower yesterday, and I was just like, bro, like, did I really just like not really pay for school? Like, that school costs like $300,000. Like, I think
Is
I
it really
think
that
at the
much?
time, yeah, it was 31 per semester, and I went for 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
I think it's more now, but it was like 31. Nah, maybe it was more. I don't know. It was something around there. It was
Yeah, it was
crazy.
some astronomical number.
Yeah, it's like what? Like where do y'all get these numbers from?
When it comes to things like that,
Hmm.
do you ever sit and think to yourself, who comes up with these rules and these numbers? And I was having a discussion with my friend about this.
Yeah.
If you sit down and really think about it, the whole world
Hmm.
is built off of people going into a room and just making a decision.
Crazy.
That's what it is. If
Crazy.
you, it's pretty simple, but health insurance, school
Crazy.
tuition, what bill you pay on your cell phone, it's just people
Crazy.
who go into a room and they go, "This seems fine,"
Yeah,
and that's
this is
it.
the number. Like,
And we just accept it.
yeah, it's like I was just like looking at just like housing prices. So like for an example, like a house here versus like a house in like Nebraska. It's like what? Like a $4 million house here gets you like the ugliest house in the world, but a $4 million house in Nebraska gets you like a gorgeous property. I'm just like, someone had to make
Amazing.
that number up. Someone made this up. It's
Are
okay.
you? Because you're in LA right now,
Yeah,
right?
I'm in LA. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're early morning for me. That's why I see you have your energy drink. You're like, I gotta wake up now.
Oh yeah, dude. I always gotta have them, man.
Yes.
These are my lifesavers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But you're totally right. It's like, who comes up with these figures
It's
and just accepts it? And again, we're just like, I mean, I
yeah.
guess that
We go
sounds
with it.
right.
We just go with it. We just go with it.
Imagine that. Imagine if we all revolted, and because
Mhm.
there's more of us than there are of them,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
we're like, you know what? We're not gonna pay this number that you say. We're gonna go ahead and not do it.
I think they have
Imagine
like
that.
they have like a mass destruction button. If we were to do that, they would just be like, "All right, you guys are not going to listen to us. Watch this," and then like they're going to press it, and then we're just gonna, I don't know, just gonna
Yeah,
go.
that would be it. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. We have to figure this out. I like it. I
yeah.
like our plan here. We're on to something. Anybody who listens to this, we're on to something, and we need allies. So if you're
Yeah.
in, you're in.
I'm dead.
After college, you made the big leap to LA. We just
Yeah.
mentioned that. What was that move like? Because now you went from Florida to a different coast on the East Coast up north to now the West Coast.
That story is actually really, really interesting. So I was saving up a ton of money. I think I saved up like 30K to move from Boston to LA, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be good. Made the leap in January of 2022, and I think I got here like January 5th. I got here and I was like, all right, I'm here. I got like this really nice like high rise apartment. It was gorgeous. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing great. It's amazing. Had my car shipped, and I was like, all right, this is good. Everything's going well. I transferred I used to work at Yard House in Fenway Park. It's like this restaurant. I used to work there, and I transferred from Yard House in Boston to Yard House at the Staples Center. So I was like, all right, I got a job. Like we're good. We're golden. We're good. Um, had everything, and then maybe like a week later, I was like, okay, I'm here. I have the job. I have the apartment. I have everything. But now what? Like I moved here to keep working at Yard House. Like what am I doing? And I got really like I fell down this weird like depression hole. Like it was bad. Like I was like, oh, I'm in this nice apartment, but I have like what do I do with it? Like I don't know anyone here. Like it was like another Boston moment. Like I'm just here in a new state and I don't know anyone. I'm just like I'm doing it, but I don't have anything. Um and I was depressed, dude. It was bad. I was calling friends from Boston, being like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna. This is gonna be dark.
Go
How
ahead.
dark can it get?
Go ahead. You can say whatever you feel. No, never judgment here, bro.
All right, so, dude, so I was at the time I was watching Shameless, and Shameless is like I don't know if you watch Shameless, but Shameless is like
Yeah, I know that, Joe. Yeah.
the show that has all these people have problems. They go down dark holes and revert to drugs and revert to just like group meetings and just like weird things like that. I don't know, things like that. I never went to drugs, but like I got really sad, dude, and I was just like, I was no one knows this actually. This is like the first time I'm talking about this, but I was looking over. I had like a balcony to look over LA, and I was just looking. I was like, I would never do it, but what if, you just like, what if? I thought about it a few times. I was like, well, like I have no purpose here in LA, and yeah, I was just a sad kid, man, and that lasted for about a month, and then I remembered randomly. I was like, I met someone at Berkeley that told me to message them once I landed in LA, and I never did that, so I did it, and this friend was like, let's meet up for lunch. And I'm like, all right, cool. We met up. Her name is Geraldine, incredible human being. we sat for lunch. He's like, what are you doing out in LA? And I'm just like, I don't know. I work at Yard House. I have a cool apartment and a car, and people here are kind of cold, but it's LA. Like, what do you expect? Um, and she's all like, "That's interesting." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not really what I want to do, but that's what we're doing." And she, we're just talking, chopping it up, eating, blah blah blah. And towards the end of the date or whatever, she's like, I have a position. I'm just like, okay, for what? She's like, I'm working on this TV show right now, and I need a personal assistant for the artist that we're doing it for. I'm just like, oh, I've never done that before, but like, who is it, if you don't mind me asking? And she's like, for Cardi B, and I'm just like, oh, like you want me to be like her, like assistant? I'm just like, well, the opportunity is still kind of up in the air, but if you can do it, it would be cool to have you. Um, I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure, like I'll try it out. Like, and short backstory, I worked with Geraldine back at Berkeley because Berkeley sent me on a tour with the internet, like Steve Lacy and Sid the Kid, all these people. Like I met her on that tour back in school, and then she told me to hit her up when I got here. Back to this, so she was all like, "Yeah, I mean, if you can, I would love to have you for Cardi." I'm just like, yeah, just let me know. Like, I'm down. And I think it was literally 4 days later, I went to another job interview for another restaurant. And I was in the interview listening to this person talk. I was like, oh, God, I don't really want to be here. Like, this is stupid. Oh, my gosh. And I looked down at my phone. She's all like, Geraldine was like, can you start tomorrow? I need you on set for Cardi, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I look at the interviewer. I'm just like, I'm so sorry, but I gotta go. I gotta be out. And then they're like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's beautiful. This is great. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me, but I gotta go. And I left, and I got myself together, got a haircut, got some new clothes, and the next day I was Cardi B's assistant. The next day, and I was like, life is funny.
Yeah.
That story took really, really long. I'm so sorry. That took so long.
No, please don't. Please don't apologize. I love long stories. I'm a good listener.
Yeah, but
For
I went from no job, well, from Yard House to Cardi B's assistant in a month. So, yeah.
First things first, I want to say thank you for opening up and sharing that, because I know that that's hard
Yeah.
to admit. I've talked to many people who have said things like, they never would, but maybe they're driving on the street and they see a huge 18-wheeler and they think, what if, right? They think, what if? And our minds can play tricks on us like that, right? Our minds can make us feel like we're not good enough or etc. And I'm proud of you that you were able to overcome that, and it landed you these opportunities, and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I want to say I'm sorry that you went through that, but in other ways, it's almost like you had to, so that way you could experience this. Yeah. And so I hope anybody that listens, I hope that it encourages you that if you are feeling some type of way, that you do talk to someone, and it's therapeutic in a way of, even if you don't want to sit and talk to a therapist, of just venting your feelings or even just sharing a dark thought that you may have had. So I'm proud of you, my friend. I'm glad that you were able to overcome that and work through that.
Yeah.
And you got to have one of the most badass experiences, being able to just be Cardi B's, her assistant.
Yeah.
And then you got to work with some other folks, right? I saw Lil Nas X, right?
Yeah. That was crazy. So after Cardi, because we were doing a show for, it was like some TV show, and once that was coming to an end, I was like, oh shoot, like I gotta go back to Yard House. Oh, it's happening again. It's happening again. Oh no, like sad, sad, sad. And then I got a text message from the same person that hired me the first time, and she, it's so weird how the way that she did it was so interesting. I was driving all of us to set one day, and she randomly asked me like, "Would you ever work for Lil Nas X?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, like why not?" But like not connecting the dots or like being like, "Okay, well, I have this." It was just like, "Oh, would you ever do it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then like a couple weeks later, when the show was about to end, I get a text from Nas's manager saying, "Oh, hey, would you be down to work for Nas? Like, we're getting ready for, I think it was the Grammys. Getting ready for the Grammys, and we need someone to just be there, with him like you did with Cardi. Heard that you were doing good, blah, blah, blah." I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I had a job with Nas right after Cardi, and I was with him for a while. So we did Grammys. I did like his birthday party. He had like a birthday thing. And then I did his tour with him. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some really cool experiences there. I also have in my notes that you were working on the BET network as well.
Yeah. Well, it was more of the BET Awards. So like the award shows and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about MTV Push? I think I see that as well.
Dude, it's kind of cool. Like, so the person that hired me for Nas also was one of the producers for MTV Push. And MTV Push is pretty much just like it's like a kickoff to an artist's career. They put together this like video package for you, and they do like an interview with you, and it's mostly for artists that are about to like just skyrocket. So I was just not watching, but I was there assisting every artist that would come in. So like Jake came in, which is the guy that I actually auditioned his song for The Voice with. Renee Rapp came in. Doechii came in, and like so many like just cool artists like Chloe and like it was a bunch of people. So I got to like pretty much assist them throughout their time on MTV Push. So yeah, it was fun. It was sick.
And this was all in LA, right?
All in LA, all within like the same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk about feeling like you had nothing.
Yeah.
Essentially, to having all these opportunities. That's got to be really, really cool. And during that process, individually, I think I see that you were trying to book music festivals, video shoots for yourself to really establish yourself. What was that moment like for you where you're like, man, I really want a solo career in singing?
I think so. I was just super. I was super grateful that I was able to like help other artists, and I was also like inspired watching them, because I'm like, this is what I want to do. But I think I had to go through all of that to understand like the beast that it takes to make one of these artists. I'm very like independent. I want to do everything myself. Like I want to be there for the editing processes, and I want to be the one that says, no, the camera should be a little bit more this way, or like whatever. Like I'm very like hands-on, but I think I needed to be there to see how powerful of a team that you need in order to be successful, because you literally can't do everything by yourself. So I think I kind of just like swallowed my tongue a little bit, and I was like, you know what, like it's good that I'm in these situations. Like it's good that I'm watching all of this happen, because I had no idea that this stuff happened. Like there's assistance to the assistants. Like it's insane. There's someone for every single little piece of the machine, and it's like, this is good to know, Because if I were just to be like thrown into this, I'd have been like, I think I would have flopped like fast if I didn't know any of this stuff. So I think after, what was it? I think it was like my last MTV push shoot. It was with Saucy Santana, and I was like, I think I know what I need to know now. After working just from Cardi to Netflix to Beat, like everything, I was like, I see it. I understand now. And that's when I started to reach out to managers. I stopped reaching out to artists, and I was like, the artists can't do anything for me. I need to reach out to the managers. Like, they know how to do this stuff. They're the ones who are doing this stuff. And I was like, how do I get on this festival lineup? And I'm not talking to the artists anymore. Now I'm talking to like the booking agents. I'm talking to, the marketing team. And they're just like, okay, well, your social media needs to look like this. You need to have these pictures out. Like, everything just needs to make sense. Like, you can't approach anyone as the artist anymore. Like, you have to have the manager reach out to the other manager so that they can get you on it. Like, it looks crazy, like me reaching out to Coachella being like, hey, I want to perform at Coachella. It's like, no, it doesn't. This is stupid. You can't do that. Like, the manager needs to reach out. Your manager needs to reach out to Coachella to book you on Coachella. Like, I just get it now. It just makes sense.
It's a spider web effect, and it's something that you don't realize it, because even me, right? Like, I think that middleman or woman would be more confusing. But now I hear you, and I'm like, wow, that really does make sense, because there's been times where I've tried to get people even on the show, and it's like, oh, man, you really do have to go through all these channels. And in some cases, I don't, they're not even looking at the messages, right?
Yeah.
Like the actual stars. So, yeah, it is very interesting to think about. And it is a trickle-down effect, and you brought it up. The managers have the managers, and the assistants have assistants. It's kind of like The Office, when the assistant to the assistant. That's a real thing now, I guess.
Yeah. The Office is so funny, bro. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, I think it was very important that I did go through everything that I went through, because, I mean, dude, I was walking blind. I was like, I don't know how to do this stuff. But now it's like, shoot, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah. Now you're ready to take off. Right.
Dude, yeah. It's going. It's happening.
It is. So you made your debut on television as a focal point on the season 25 of The Voice.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you got the audition call, and what was that process like?
Yeah. Oh, man. So I remember the casting producer that reached out to me. They reached out to me to audition for the show. And I was like, oh, this must be fake. This is not real. There's no way The Voice is hitting me up. That's crazy. But it wasn't. They did. And the process is long. It's not like just go ahead and audition. Like, nah, it's like a month and a half length of auditioning. Like, sending videos back and forth to producers and making sure you're the right fit. Sometimes it's not even just like you suck. It's like you're just not meant for that specific season. Like, they have personalities that they want to match on the show. Like, maybe you're better for the next season, or I don't know, anything. But what was I doing? I think I was back working again for some time, because I had some time off. So I went back to working at this restaurant. And I think I went to the bathroom, and I saw I got a missed call. I was like, oh, I'll go back to it later. And then I see a text, and then like, it's from the casting producer. He was like, why didn't you pick up the call? I'm just like, what call? He's like, well, like, you got the show. Like you're going to be on the show. I need you to call that person back ASAP. And I'm just like, what? Like, and I was like, bro, not again. Like, this is crazy. Like, so I like went back to the bathroom. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry I missed your call. I was at work right now. Like, is there anything I can like do for you or something? And they're like, no, we just want to call you to tell you that, you know, like we want you on this next season. And I was like, bro, like this is wild. Like this is crazy. So I had to like repack up my life and go out to the hotel that they were keeping us in. I was going to say trapping us in because it felt like we were there forever, but yeah, nah, but it was amazing, man. Like it was cool. Yeah, I was there for 6 months of my life in a hotel, the same hotel. Um,
Wait,
it was
so
crazy.
so even though
Hmm.
you lived in the same city, you had to stay at the
Hmm.
hotel they were putting you up in.
Hmm.
Oh, that would drive me stir crazy.
Bro, my mind was going insane. I was like, I live 20 minutes away. Like, can I just go home?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That would drive me crazy. The fact that
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
accessible. It'd be one thing if I lived on the other side of the country, but
right,
if you're living in the same city,
right,
that would drive me crazy. That would almost be like you
yeah,
have to stay living
yeah.
at your work for 6 months at your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why, like, at a certain point, I was like, huh, this is kind of crazy. But like, I understand why they did it though. Like, it's such a huge liability thing. Like, let's just say, like, if I were to get like hurt or something like that in the middle of filming, like, the story wouldn't just it wouldn't make any sense. Like, everything's like pre-recorded. So, well, most things are pre-recorded. So, you know, if we were like in the middle of like the battles and then like I got hurt and then like I wasn't there for the knockouts. It's like, well, what happened to him? Like, what did he? Is he? Is he alive? Like, is he good? Like, so I get why they keep us in you know, the hotel. It was a nice hotel. I was happy. It was nice, but it makes sense as to why they kind of keep us locked in.
Yeah.
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 And you're with the same people all the time.
Um, I was kind of like antisocial for
Okay.
some of it, only because like, you know, it is my first TV show, and I was like, you know, I don't want to get caught up in like the nerves or any drama that were to come from it, or just like, you know, even like the heartbreak. It's like, oh my gosh, like my friend is going, you know, didn't make it to the next round. Like now I gotta say bye. Like yeah, all that emotionally attached stuff, it gets to you. So I kind of just like stayed in my own world. Although I did know most people, but you know, still.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you're like me in a sense. So I moved so many times growing up
Mm,
that in some ways it was hard for me to make really, really close friends.
yeah,
Now, ironically, I can do these type of podcasts and it's almost like my childhood helped me with that because I moved so much. I had to meet new people, I had
yeah,
to learn new things, and I had to converse and put myself out there a bit.
hmm,
But in some ways, it's almost like if I feel like I'm getting too close,
mm,
I can sometimes put that arm's length, and I have to catch myself. I have to be like, no, you're doing that. You
yeah,
have to put that arm down. You have to open up a little bit, especially if they're opening up to you, and you have to be
hmm,
respectful of that. And that's something that I had to learn, and it took me, like I said, I'm 31. It took me almost 15 years to
really,
really understand
yeah,
because in high school it'd be like I'd have friends, but like
mhm,
whenever they were like, "Hey, you want to come over?" I'd
yeah.
almost talk myself out of it. And
But
maybe that's
same.
a yeah, and maybe that was a form of anxiety just because
Yeah,
I didn't want to get that close to them and I didn't want it to if something happened. And I think like I said, it was because I had all these friends growing up,
yeah,
and the minute that I got really close to them, we had to move or something
mhm,
happened.
yeah,
And so then it was like I tried to save myself from that heartbreak. So
hmm,
I can relate in that regard of just it's a revolving door. Things
yeah,
are constantly changing. So
hmm,
because of that, it is hard to feel stabilized
yeah,
and feel this deep-rooted connection.
hmm,
But in some ways it's almost like you all do because of that trauma bonding, right? Like
yeah,
it's almost like it's a slippery slope, right? It's almost like the reason why they're so close is because they know that reality and that trauma bonding. but in some ways, it's almost like, hey, I know that this could happen, so I want
Yeah.
to avoid it. Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, not that I'm blessed with singing, but I feel like I'm with you that if I was in that type of setting,
Mhm.
I probably would stick to more the being cordial and
Yeah.
copacetic with everyone, but
Yeah.
maybe not trying to be this deeply rooted,
Yeah.
connected person
Yeah.
because you don't know what could happen.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there were there. I think season 25, like most most people were super close. Like people got like tattoos of our season, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is cool. I was like, do what you got to do. But most people on our season were super close, and like I still talk to this day. Like I still talk to some of my castmates and stuff, and yeah, they would have like sleepovers in each other's rooms. I'm like, this is y'all are like friends. Like this is cool. This
Yeah.
just not for me. I just wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't
No,
there.
and like I said, I think that was me as well. I was the kid that, ironically, I went to 4 proms my senior year,
Oh
and
wow.
none of them were mine.
Oh
I did
wow.
not go to my own high school prom. And
Huh.
I don't know if that was part of that same connection, weird thing. Because I grew up in a church as well. And
Mhm.
in the church, like, they were, granted, it wasn't like I was dating all these girls. They were
Mhm.
my friends, but they were
Yeah.
like, hey, my prom is here. My prom is here. Do you want to come? I was like, yeah, I'll go with you, whatever. And I was
Mhm.
completely comfortable going to a random prom an hour and a half away in which I
That's
knew nobody,
so funny.
but I didn't want to go to my own one. For
Huh.
some reason, I was like, I'm all set. I think, I maybe part of that was I was all prommed out, but that is the true fact. I went to 4 proms my senior year, and one of them was not my own. And when it came to the
Crazy.
time of my own, all of my friends were like, "You're really not gonna go?" I was like,
I already
I
went.
mean, and I was like you, of like, they, I think sometimes people try to find an affinity towards something that connects them, right? Like, for
Mhm.
example, church,
Yeah.
the same high school, the same season.
Right.
Like, you talk about people that got tattoos of that
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Fantastic that you feel that closeness.
Mhm.
If I was there, that would not be me. I would not consider that. I mean, and truth be told, right? Like, I have a tattoo of a wolf that I got years ago, and the reason why is because I always felt like lone wolf in it. Like, you
Mhm.
talked to earlier about how,
Yeah.
like, you had to learn that
Yeah.
you can't really go through life lone wolf in it, and that was me too. I had to learn the hard way,
Mhm.
and I mean, I got this. I'm proud of it because it's who I am. But for much of my life, it was like, I'll be friends with people, I'll be cordial, I'll be
Yeah.
copacetic, but I don't want to be so vulnerable and be so open and break down these walls.
Mhm.
And again, I think part of that was my surrounded. I think part of that was just the fear of what would happen.
Mm.
But I don't know if I would have participated in the tattoos. I think a Facebook friend or an Instagram follow would suffice.
That's close enough.
But
You get a
I,
follow.
I mean, it's Instagram official, right? Didn't that used to be a thing? Facebook official
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
relationships
No,
that.
you're right. You're right. Yeah, tattoos are pretty extreme. Like that just
Yeah,
doesn't leave. It just stays
yeah,
forever. Like,
yeah,
but, uh,
yeah.
it's very interesting. But
But to each their own. To
yeah,
each their own, right?
right. For a lot of people, I think what it was though for me is like I was already like in a lot of industry things, so yes, going to the show was a huge deal for me. But like like the hype behind the show for a lot of people is like who your coach is. So it's like people are just like, oh my gosh, like I get to work with this person, that person. But like for me, like in reality, I had already like worked with a lot of my favorite people. So I'm just like, oh, I'm meet at this point, I'm just meeting another really cool person. Like, but I'm not like fanboying. Like I kind of got that out once like I was with Cardi, you know what I mean? And Cardi would have different guests on the show every day. Like she would have different celebrities come in all the time. So I was consistently like in this loop of meeting my favorite people. So I think a lot of people get in that mindset of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go work with a celebrity. Like I'm excited. I'm excited. I gotta go get a tattoo. This is my first time. And I was just like, oh, I already kind of did that. So I'm good. This is just a really cool opportunity at this point.
Yeah. Obviously not in a slandering way, but do you think that is a big thing about that show, right? I mean, clearly you're working with a titan in the industry and you have to respect it, clearly. But do you realize that there is a lot of fanboying or whatever the case may be? Because I will say this, when I watched, I thought it was your demeanor, and perhaps partially it is, where you were just like, okay, cool, I'm here to work, I'm here to sing, I'm here to take the knowledge that I can from the Megan Trainors, from the John Legends, from the Chance the Rappers, but use it for my own skill. And that is something I did notice about you. And that's not me trying to brown nose you or say that I think that you are better than others, but that is something I noticed about you. Whereas I do notice there are some others who that's all. That will be where they end. And that will be where they peak. And that's that. And I think for you, you're in the headspace, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're in the headspace of that's a good opportunity, but that's not where I'm going to peak. I'm going to keep trying to strive for greatness. Would you say that that's the case?
That like 1,000%. Yeah. I knew that from being on the show, like that wasn't going to be like, oh, you made it moment. Like I was like, no, this is just like, okay, now you have like a blue check on Instagram. Like this is good. This is the way that this is good. These are things that are like gonna help you open more doors for yourself. I knew that like the voice wasn't gonna be like, oh my gosh, now you're like an A-lister. Like that's not how it works. Like this is literally just another step to kind of just like making you more eligible for things. Yeah. But I knew that there were things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do unless I had certain things. Like I knew that I was never going to be able to perform at these major festivals without having some type of mega beast behind me, like the voice. Like that weight is, the name of the voice is so heavy that once people like realize that you were on something like that, it's like, okay, now I think you're eligible for this. Like you can't really perform in front of a crowd of 100,000 people if you haven't been on a TV show that is viewed by millions of people. It's like they're just like, oh, I don't think you're gonna be ready for that. I was like, well, I did that, so now I think I am ready for that. So I think I was looking at it more of like, okay, I need to do well on this so I can get more opportunities out of it when I'm done with this type thing. Yeah.
Whereas for some, like I said, that is their opportunity. That is their break. Fantastic. But that's where they plateau, right? They peaked and then they plateau. And there is that fanboy moment. And I've seen it. Like, right, you see it. Whereas, like, I noticed whenever they were saying, RLETTO, we have X celebrity, it was like, oh, cool. Like, oh, cool. Whereas, like, I've seen some where they're like, it almost seems like they're overacting because they're like shrieking into the camera. And I'm like, is it real? Or are you fanboying? I don't know if I would ever shriek if I saw somebody that I would. Now, would I be excited and would I feel it internally? For sure. But I don't know if it's something. It's a produced show, right? Like all shows. Yeah. So I don't know if it's something where they say like you must show a degree of excitement.
Honestly, for like, okay, so for a lot of the moments where we were being introduced to new people, like we had no idea who they were going to be. So like a lot of the reactions that you like saw were just that's just what they were.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, so some people were super excited.
Okay. Because I'm wrong. And the only reason why I say that, which is fine, but the only reason why I say this because there's been some seasons, with respect, where I've seen and they say, oh, today we have this person. And I have to be completely transparent. I like to think I'm pretty well versed in music. Maybe not as deep in the trenches as artists like yourself. But
Mhm.
I like to think I'm like, oh, I know a lot. Like my Spotify playlist or my Apple Music is it's an
Mhm.
eclectic spectrum. You can hear rock, you can hear screamo, but you can hear soul, you can hear R&B, etc. And sometimes they'll throw a name out there, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. You're telling me that this random 16-year-old knows who this person is?
I'm gonna tell you something that's so funny, dude. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
please.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so who was it? I think it was when we had Keith Urban. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Keith. So there were I'm not gonna say exactly who it was, but there was another contestant on the show. They were younger. I think they were like 16 or something like that. And Keith Urban was like the mega mentor. And they walked into the room, and I think they thought that Keith Urban was Billy Ray Cyrus, and I was like, bro, that is a completely different person. And I think they said it, and then the producers are like, no, no, that's not Billy, that's Keith Urban. They're all like, oh, okay. And I was like, bro, like, but I don't blame them though. They just didn't know, but
I could see it too. From a distance, I could see it. But
yeah,
I do know who Keith Urban is at the very least.
yeah,
But yeah, he's well known enough that you know who he is.
yeah.
Yes.
But I couldn't
No,
even
but I
imagine that. I was like, bro, no.
like the embarrassment, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
But that's partially what I mean.
Mhm.
And again, that's not me trying to disrespect any talented
Yeah.
16-year-old artist
Mhm.
or 12-year-old. Now this past
Right,
season,
yeah.
I think there was a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good. And that's fantastic. Good for them.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm making is that like I feel like I said, I feel like I'm well versed in a lot of things, and I
Mhm.
try my best to just keep myself more knowledgeable. And
Yeah.
there are some times where I've seen a person and I go, I genuinely have no idea who they are. And that doesn't mean that they're not a star.
Yeah,
I
right,
just don't know who they are.
right.
And so sometimes I'm like, okay, how is it that every single person who walked into that door knows exactly who that person is? To me, but again,
I feel that 1,000%. There were a few times that I was even like with like when I walked in and I saw Megan Trainor. It's like it's weird because you don't see these people in person every day. You know what I mean? Like so you're like, oh wait, is that who I think it is? Like like I walked in and I saw Megan Trainor. Mind you, that like when I saw Megan Trainor the first time, she wasn't the same like weight size as she is now. Like she lost a lot of weight. So like I walked in
yeah.
and I saw Megan. I was like, wait, that is Megan Trainor? Like she looks great. She looked amazing. Um, so at first I was kind of just like, oh shoot, that is Meg. Cool. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I more just laugh at those moments.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
for me, I like the show. It's entertaining. That's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why I get entertained about is just being like trying to decipher by
Yeah.
looking at their face if it's a real reaction or if it's maybe they got tipped off of like, hey, no, that's not. That's
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny.
yeah,
It's real though. It's real
yeah.
though. For the most part.
Okay. All right, there you go. I stand corrected. That's unfortunately you got eliminated.
Yeah.
But what was the biggest takeaway from that show?
Um, I think the biggest takeaway that I got was okay. It's gonna sound kind of crazy, but like I don't get nervous at all. I'm like one person that doesn't get nervous. Like this is what I want to do. Like there's no reason for me to be nervous, but I don't I don't get nervous, but I do as soon as I'm about to do something. So like I can be chilling the entire day. I'm like, okay, I have to, sing a song later on. But as soon as like the doors open to like walk out onto the stage, I'm like, fuck, I'm nervous. Like, and it's so bad. But I think what I like kind of overcame was that nervous feeling. Like I don't feel that nerve anymore when I like walk out onto a stage. And it's like I'm happy because I used to always get like this like crazy like nerve sweat like as soon as I was about to do anything. And now that like the show is done, I'm like, dude, you just performed in front of like, I mean, the audience on the actual studio set is not the biggest audience. I think it's like 100 to 200 people, but like, you know, on the TV set, it's like it's millions. So I'm just like, you have nothing to be scared about anymore. Like this is, you did it. So
Yeah.
mostly my nerves, but also I think that's the biggest thing. I don't get nervous anymore. I know it's
Yeah.
not a really cool takeaway, but
No, that is because I think that I forget. I don't. I'm gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna try my best to explain. I forget where I either read it or heard it somewhere, and it said on the opposite side of success is fear, and it kind of sounds like that you had to overcome that in a way where it's like, all right, here I go. Oh man, oh shit, this is real. It's gonna be in front of a bunch of people, and now that you've overcome that, now you're able to just be who you are when you're on stage, and it's not. And I'm not saying you ever were. It's not this stiff, you know, perform. It can be an engaging performance.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I also like. I'm really like happy that I know. Like I understand production now. Like I understand that like, you know, people, not people, but production, they use clips, they use things that they think were good. A lot of people don't actually know this, but a lot of what you see on the show is altered. Like for an example, like there are times where you hear someone singing something, but it may not be what they actually sang. Like we have a few takes of us doing this stuff. So like sometimes they use different takes during these performances and they like put different notes in. And I'm just like, wow, like this show is like, this is a made show. Like someone takes the time to make these things work. And I'm just like, I didn't know that before. Like this is kind of crazy. So yeah, little insight there if you didn't know.
I thought it was just one solid run.
Nope.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's this is a show. Like there is a beast behind this show. So yeah, I'm just happy that I understand how these like multi-million-dollar productions can really not really make or break you, but like they're gonna do their best to make the show a show, you know, and keep it entertaining for people.
Right, because yes, it's entertaining to listen to a person sing, absolutely. But you're right, there needs to be elements of drama, especially on a national television show and on a national network like NBC.
Yeah. There's keeping that note going. There were so there were even times, this is like some like drama tea stuff, but so okay, so I went against a few different people throughout the show. And you know, some people, they thought the outcomes were not fair. And you know what? I agree. Some of them may not have been, you know, as fair. But I think people forget that this is a TV show. It's meant to make you like feel things. Like it's meant to make you like upset or happy or excited or anything like that. Like so people are just like, oh, like I wish it would have went the other way. It should have been the other way. And I'm just like, well, yeah, like we know it should have been that way, but it's a TV show. Like it's meant to like make you feel something. It's meant to make you upset. Like so you can keep tuning in to see what's gonna happen next. And I think like the mind doesn't allow people to like get past that point that it's not real. I mean it's real, but it's like it's not real life, you know?
Yeah. No, and it's so funny that you say that because there have been some seasons where, and I'm not going to say a name. I'm not going to say a name because I feel like that if down the line they ever want to come on the show, I welcome anybody.
Yeah.
I don't judge. I'm a very engaging person. I'll be your friend. We can be friends forever.
Yeah.
But there have been some seasons where I've watched some people and I'm like, why did you win?
Yeah.
How did you win? And again, you know, they say, oh, the voting, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is really seeing these results. It's similar to what we said earlier in the podcast, aforementioned.
Right.
Nobody is sitting there watching it. We just accept it.
Yeah.
Right? We're
Yeah.
told that this is what the outcome is, and we accept it.
Yep.
Because if we were to go down that rabbit hole of trying to figure it out for ourselves, it's just going to drive us crazy.
Yeah.
So to simplify it, we go, all right, you know what? I disagree with it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you're right. That is like in anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
You watch a TV show, you watch a sports game,
Yeah.
you watch whatever the case may be, you're not going to be happy with every single outcome.
Exactly.
You're not going to be happy with every single play or every single song.
Yeah.
Because there was the person who I interviewed, and I love him to death. He knows who he is.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, why did you choose that song, the song? And I'll never forget it because it was probably one of the best takes I had on the podcast about The Voice. And he goes, he flat out nonchalantly, he goes, I didn't choose it. This is what I was told to sing.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as they told me I was going to sing it, that was going to be the nail in my coffin and I wasn't going to win. That's what he said.
Interesting.
And I'm like, wow, that is such an interesting take.
Interesting.
But it's a show, and somebody has a boss. Everybody has an assistant and an assistant and an assistant. Everybody has a boss and a boss and a boss, and they all have somebody that they have to answer to. And it's, this is the song you're singing, but they don't want to sing it. Well, that's what you're singing.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's a show. It's a show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when I realized that WWF, or I think it's called WWE now, but when WWE wasn't real.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're watching it, you're like, this is real. What do you mean? John Cena needs to always win. What do you mean? And then when he finally loses,
you're like, dang, like, why did that happen? Like,
and you want to rip the remote into the TV.
Exactly.
Fuck this. Like, I hate this show. But then you tune on the next night, whatever, right? Yeah.
And it works out. And it's just like, this is just what it's meant to do. Like, this is TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It is. It's supposed to hit all emotions, right? It's supposed to get that feel-good moment. It's supposed to make you pissed. It's supposed to make you want to cry. You know, it's supposed to do all those things. And, yeah, it definitely is an interesting one at that, because I think, like you said, a lot of times people can't determine between the two of, like, okay, this is produced. This is real.
Yeah.
These are real people. They're held up in a hotel for 6 months. Their free will is taken from them. They have to sign their life away. This is real. They're working under stress.
Yeah.
No, it's real. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like a lot of people don't get it. And I'm like, I mean, I get why they don't get it, because they're not there to like experience it. So they're just going based off of what they see and what they hear. But it's like, when you're actually there, like, it's a whole different story. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
You've had quite the journey from Berkeley to The Voice, now being your own solo artist. If you could go back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you give him?
It's going to sound so corny, but just never stop. Just don't stop. Oh my gosh. Like, I've tried, not tried, but I've thought about stopping so many times, and I'm like, if I would have stopped, I would have never gotten this or gotten that I'm just like, dude, like, you haven't stopped and things have been great. And yeah, just don't stop. You're almost there.
I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
If you could collaborate with any artist, who would it be?
Bieber. Justin Bieber, hands down. That is the one guy I would collaborate with like this in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Guy's a GOAT. He's great.
He is. I grew up. I was in middle school and high school, right in the trenches of Bieber fever, and we're around the same age, so I feel like him and I grew up together. You know
what's crazy? Okay, so like when Bieber first came out, I liked Bieber, and then like I saw how like big he got like within the 3 years of him being Bieber, and I was like, I actually hate Justin Bieber. And then I like randomly turned into a mega fan out of nowhere. I was like, what is this? What is this guy doing? What is happening right now? And when he was going through he was going through a lot, but when he was getting in trouble and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? Dude is going through it. Like he literally started at 10 or something like that, and I'm like what do we expect from a guy that's been in the light for literally all his life? Like he's just having a moment. Let him live.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I have so much respect for him. I'm just like, dude, he never stopped, since he was 10 or whatever. He just never stopped. And now look at him. A dad.
Well, I know, Papa Bieber. No, it is an interesting perspective to take, and it requires a lot of empathy because obviously a lot of artists and these childhood actors and actresses, they don't live a normal life like you and I. They didn't go to the public schools. They didn't do all that stuff.
Right.
And it kind of pisses me off, honestly, whenever I hear somebody act high and mighty, and they'll talk about how Lindsay Lohan went off the deep end and how Macaulay Culkin, Justin Bieber, and I'm like, okay, think about this. I'm just going to be dead honest. If my life was in a microscope from the time I was 20 to 30, I would hate myself and I would hate my life.
Yeah.
Because everybody would be saying everything wrong I did, blah, blah, blah. You're expecting these children to have the emotional intellect and the maturity, the maturation to handle adult situations. It's kind of, if you take a step back and give empathy towards the situation, you can honestly relate and be like, damn, if somebody really were to hold everything against me I did when I was 10, 11, 12 and make me seem like I'm a piece of shit for it, I would also go through this roller coaster of emotions of hating everyone and then not wanting to be a part of it. Whenever I see somebody post a clip and be like, look, Bieber's an asshole, and it's because he's avoiding a signature, I go, do you blame the guy? You literally have been calling him a piece of shit for the last 20 years of his life. And now because he's grown up and he's figured out what life is and you respect it, you want to go ahead and be like, oh, no, I'm your fan.
Yeah, exactly.
It does break my heart because look at Lindsay Lohan now. She looks stunning. She's gorgeous. She's doing movies again, commercials, and to me, I'm like, maybe I have a soft spot. She was my childhood crush, so maybe it's part of that. There's a little bias there, but in all seriousness, it really was like, man, how do you expect these people to really live their life normally? Britney Spears is another one, right? Like,
they've been in the public eye forever, and it's just like, like what do you?
They're thrusted into the public eye because of their talents, their God-given talents, and then the level of expectation is that we need to hold them accountable as if they're already a 30-year-old adult, and it's like, bro, let me see some CCTV clip of you from 18 to 20, and then we can go ahead and talk. Exactly.
And it's also crazy too, because even with just me being on the one show, people say crazy things. People just the comments are insane. Most of them are supportive and great and whatever, but there's a lot of hate too. People are literally in the comments saying, "Oh, you suck. Oh, you shouldn't do this." Blah blah blah. And I was only on one show. I couldn't even imagine Bieber and Beyonce and Rihanna. People dude, these are people attacking them consistently every single day, and have been for the past 10 plus years. So I mean, I have to kind of sit with that and be like, yo, this is what you signed up for. I understand that, but it's just I get why these these outbursts happen because people are consistently being like, do this, do that, do better, blah blah blah, and I'm like, just shut up, just leave me alone.
And right, and I'm not here trying to be high and mighty against people, but you're right. Like, right,
Yeah.
think about how normal people are when their boss is on them
Mm-hmm.
40 hours a week.
Right.
How they want to have these outbursts, and then they do behind the scenes at home.
Mm-hmm.
They may not do it to their boss, but they do it to their spouses,
Right.
their kids, their friends, etc. Imagine these people who are 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're complaining about 40 hours. These people for 24 hours,
Mm-hmm.
7 days a week, 365 days, sometimes on a leap year, 366 days. They're being ridiculed, and stones are being thrown at them by millions of people.
Yeah.
Like you said, I was never on a show, but obviously here I'm trying to put myself out there, right? And I've done clips. The amount of weird DMs or the ridiculous things I've been told. Somebody randomly put, "You sound like a guy with small dick energy," and I'm like, what does
it mean?
What does me disagreeing with a point mean that? I don't know. But I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
If I was one of these big people, and I can't imagine that life. It's kind of heartbreaking to think about. In a way, like you said, it's like, all right, this is what you sign up for, and I understand that. But then you can't then turn around and say that they're a piece of shit because you've been acting like a piece of shit to them. Haters are like crickets that when, they're really far away, they're really loud. But once you step up to them, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Funny. Such a funny industry that we've chosen to go into.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm trying to piggyback off of that, right? Like I'm trying to be in media, right? It happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a hypothetical your way.
Okay.
You've just been hired to create a soundtrack for a major movie. What genre of film do you think your music would best suit?
I would say like a romantic comedy. Romantic comedy. Yeah, a rom-com. I was trying to find the words for that, but yeah, a rom-com.
Yes, you're a rom-com guy. Yes, you are.
Yes. I'm a rom-com kind of guy.
Yes. both the actor and the person who makes the music. That's you.
For sure.
Is there a hidden talent or hobby that you've got that would surprise your fans?
So I like to cook a lot. I love to cook. And when I am cooking, I tend to pretend that I am cooking in front of like an audience. So while I'm cooking, I'm like, there can be no one home. I'm just like narrating exactly what I'm doing as if I'm talking to like an audience. I think it's the weirdest thing ever. And I've like, my roommates have like walked in on me before while I'm doing it. And they're like, bro, who are you talking to? I'm like, dude, I'm doing my cooking show. Like the audience is there. Be quiet. And it's like, yeah, that's just something that I do.
Again, no judgment because I don't like to cook.
Okay.
And anytime I'm cooking myself dinner, I do that.
Really?
It's just something empowering of you feeling like you're throwing the spices in and like, and nobody's there and you can kind of saute and throw, you know what I mean? There's just something about it. There is.
Fire, man. I'm telling you, it's like the best thing ever. Like, I'm like, all right, guys, so today, and it's just like, who am I talking to? And like, why? Yep. But yeah, it gets me through the process of making, my Michelin star meals for myself.
Yep. I'm the same way. I pretend like I'm Bobby Flay. I do.
I'm telling you, man, it makes your food taste so much better.
It does. All right, we got some burning questions while we wrap up then.
Cool.
What's one thing about the music industry that many might not realize, but you've learned through all your experiences? I know you said that you learned the production and that you can't be a one-man band, but is there anything else that you've learned from the industry through all your experiences?
Yeah. uh, when people say like money doesn't buy you happiness, I slightly disagree with that. Because if you come from a place where you never really had money and now you have the financial backing to do things that you want to do, it does buy you happiness. So what I would say is having a financial beast behind you in the music industry can literally change everything in the most positive way if you use it for the positive things. Yeah, money does make you happy if you use it the right way.
I would 100% agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
My argument is much more simple than yours. I say to my friends who have said that to me, I say, have you ever seen a rich person give all their money away? Right? Like if it really didn't buy it, no, they want to make more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with you, right? Like if you come from a place where you didn't have a lot of money, when you start to have a little bit more money in the bank, you're feeling that. You're feeling that, right? And
yeah.
Can money necessarily buy happiness? No, but it can buy the things to make you happy.
Yeah,
right? It can buy the experiences and even just the freedom and the flexibility to make you happy, right? Like a lot of times people say, oh, but I get to hang out with my friends and family. And it's like, well, rich people do too, right? People with a lot of money do too. And in some ways they're like, oh, I feel like people think that they're, compensating for something, and perhaps they are, but for the most part, they have the freedom, the financial freedom to say, I don't want to work today. I'm going to go take all my cousins on this spa trip, right? And so does it necessarily buy you happiness? No, but it buys you the experience and the freedom to be happy. And I think I would 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
All right. Randomly pick a number 1 through 4, and that will determine what slide you get for this podcast.
Oof.
Okay.
3.
All right, here we go. Who is the weakest link?
Oh.
Is it Fred, Velma, Scooby, Shaggy, or Daphne?
This is tough. Oh, man. I'm going to say Daphne.
Daphne. I agree.
Yeah. I'm going to say Daphne. I almost feel like there's like no point of Daphne. Like just like slightly.
I personally feel like she's just eye candy. Like
exactly.
Like I think Fred is the leader, right?
Yeah.
I think
Definitely that. I think Daphne just distracts Fred the entire time. Yes. And then like everyone else has like a purpose. Like Velma's like smart. Like without Scooby, there's no show. And then like Shaggy's like, he's almost like the glue. Like if something like bad happens or something, like Shaggy's like, okay, well maybe I can save Scooby. And then like I don't know, it's just like it just makes sense. Like Daphne's almost just like thanks for coming,
It does. No, I agree with you. I agree. I think she's just there for eye candy. Yep. I agree with you on that. Do you want to do another one? Do you like these?
I'm down.
All right. I've had guests that say to me, I could do a whole hour of these.
Yeah, no.
All right, I got another one for you then, okay? All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to add it to the screen now. Here we go. Who's winning in a brutal street fight to the death? Remy or Stuart Little?
Dude, Remy all day, bro. Like, Remy is a street cat, Like, Stuart Little would get mopped, dude. Like, he'd be done. Like Remy's going crazy.
I'm like, you're not giving me that little sweater over there.
Yeah, no, you're getting beat, bro.
I feel like Remy's got hands. Remy has to have hands. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I mean, like you saw the movie, bro. Like they were fighting for this food, man. Like Stuart already has like a full cooked meal, like by what's his name's mom. Like
that's right.
Yeah. No, Remy's going crazy.
I love it. All right. Chat pack time. Random question from the chat pack. We'll see what the chat pack fate gives you today.
Cool.
All right. If you were asked to create the ultimate vacation destination, where would it be located and what would it be like?
Vacation destination. That's crazy. I don't really like travel outside of the US a lot. But if I could go to one place that I could plan a vacation, I think I would say like, this is going to sound so boring, but maybe like Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I would go there. Only because like, so living in Florida, you know, there are a lot of Puerto Rican people. I was actually raised by Puerto Rican people actually. And the food is always banging. Like, it's amazing. It's so good. The people are gorgeous. And like, you're on an island, so like, good food, good people, like, and you get to see the beach. Like, what else why would you not want to go there?
I knew I liked you a lot. I'm Puerto Rican.
Fine.
I knew I liked you a lot. I knew I liked you a lot. RLETTO, I knew it. I knew this was gonna be a great episode. I knew it.
I think that's just what it would be, and it's just like we'd just be outside every day, like drinking from like, I don't know, like a coconut or something, like just vibing. Like I think it'll be fire. Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last but not least, what can we expect from you in 2025? You got new music, you got new projects. What's next for RLETTO?
So, little backstory. This past year I got some really, really like incredible blessings with like commercial work, and you know, I was able to put a lot of like just money away, and I've never been in a place where I've been financially very comfortable. So now I can like like, I love to put together music videos and like visuals for all my music. And this upcoming year, like I have like, I'm not gonna say how many, but I have music with visuals, like really good visuals coming out. So I'm able to have, you know, like a team to not just like put it together, but like to push it out. So yeah, new music, new visuals, and then festivals. A lot of festivals this year. So yeah, small things. And then I'm so excited to say this, but like my contract with NBC ends in March, so I can do more shows again, and I'm excited. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you have to have a contract where you can only perform or do certain things immediately after?
Yeah. So I actually got hit up to do 2 shows as soon as I was done with The Voice, and I couldn't do them because my contract was still in place. And I was like, dang, I can't, like, these are shows that I want to do like super bad, and I couldn't do them because there's like a clause where you can't be on TV a million times in reality world. But yeah, it's over. It's about to end, and I'm very excited to be back on the screen. So yeah, we got some things coming.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I can't wait for all the cool shit that you're going to do, that you're going to put out. You have a fan in life from me, RLETTO. Thank you so much for doing this episode of the pod. You're now forever a friend of the show. I just sworn you in. Where can people find you, follow you, all that stuff? Plug yourself in real quick.
Yeah. My Instagram, that's probably the best place to see what's going on in life. It's ITS_RLETTO. And then I just got into YouTube recently. YouTube is kind of fire, and I'm dropping things on YouTube now, and it's just my name, RLETTO. And
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Reyes Reflection podcast. Big thanks to RLETTO and our sponsors, ARAVE Cards, Jocko Fuel, Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare, and SMACKIN Sunflower Seeds for supporting today's episode. And to all our listeners, remember, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm Oprah as a dude. I love you all, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.